Hi, welcome to No Mustard Allowed, our podcast where we talk about movies, and there's not really anything special about that. We'll figure that out later, I think. So we should introduce ourselves. My name is Joel.
I'm Jack.
And we really should have planned this out better.
Yeah, well, we have a kind of a simple idea of how we want things to go, but we're really starting this out. Of course, we literally are just two guys sitting in a room thinking to ourselves, we want to do a podcast. Of course, neither of us thought maybe we should actually think this through, but here we are.
Yeah, okay, so mainly what we wanted to do is just kind of get our thoughts out about movies, just talk about movies for hours on end.
Which is a good place to start. Joel, why
Exactly.
what do you want to start this podcast?
Well, we've been wanting to start a podcast for a little while, but we haven't really had anything to make us stand out or unique. We've been trying to come up with ideas, but a lot of things have already been done. But through a Twitter conversation that I had with somebody, I was asked to be on another podcast, and I wanted to promote our podcast. So I was like, oh crap, I gotta actually have something to to send people to. So that's why this is here, and I think this is a good way to just jump in head first and try to figure it out as we go along. What do you think, Jack?
Well, mainly, I don't expect this to get super popular.
Oh,
I'd be happy.
It'd be great if it would, and we're gonna put all our best efforts into it.
Of course.
And maybe
if anything,
this
is for me. This is a bit like recording a review of a movie. It's very much just a simple way of putting my thoughts to recording, not paper.
Yeah, and we can mostly. I mean, of course, at the start, if you're listening to this, you probably saw.
You probably have already clicked off and watching something else by now.
Don't. There's a difference between being humble and that. We don't.
Well,
self-deprecating. But if you're listening to this, you probably saw. You're probably one of my parents or grandparents, or one of Jack's parents or grandparents, because
some form of relative.
Yeah. But you probably saw it on Facebook or Instagram or even Twitter. I think only like 3 people that I know follow me on Twitter.
I don't even follow him on Twitter.
You don't have a Twitter. That doesn't count.
I do have a Twitter.
You do?
And I don't follow you on purpose. So moving on.
I am hurt and betrayed.
I think I can live with that.
Yeah. That other podcast will bring that up at the end and ask you guys to listen to that episode.
Let's talk a little bit about ourselves, I guess. Joel. Your name is Joel.
My name is Joel. I wasn't prepared for this. I thought you were going to go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Do you want me to?
You told me to go first. I'll go. So, my name is Joel. I'm 18. I'm in college. I'm a freshman in college. I've loved movies since I was a little kid. I've wanted to make movies ever since I worked with my dad, who's a camera operator, on a music video, and that was just so much fun. I've loved everything I've done with him for the past 10 or so years, and as far as my taste in movies and stuff like that, I've always been a superhero action movie guy, but I also like just movies with good characters and good stories. And also, I love musicals. Musicals are probably my favorite genre.
You really like musicals.
I think I might like musicals a little too much for a straight man.
Well, do you want to list your top 3 movies then, in general?
Just of all time?
You don't have to review them or anything.
We'll
save that for another.
Let's get to that.
We'll save that for later.
Let's get to that later.
So I'm Jack. Yeah. My age is between 1 and 90. You can go ahead and guess if you want. This would be actually kind of weird. Please don't. You don't really need to do that. But I just like movies, And, no, I really like. I mainly like horror. Horror has always been something I've felt allows for a lot of creativity in its genre. It's a lot harder to scare someone than it is to make someone laugh. And I mean, I don't mind comedies. I pretty much like mainly horror and sci-fi are like my two favorite genres at the moment. But doesn't mean I won't watch anything else.
So if you had a horror sci-fi comedy, it would be like...
More like horror sci-fi. Like why Alien
Okay.
is a pretty good movie. I like Alien a lot.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the 40th anniversary steelbook of that. Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's probably, it has to be, you have to import that one, right? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Either way,
that's not what
Yeah,
we're talking about.
never mind,
If
guys.
you're interested in the movie Alien and you're a collector of movies, look up Alien 40th anniversary.
Yeah, I didn't
It's-
actually see it till you
it's-
showed it to me last night, and I was like, wow, that's
It's
some
one of
nice art.
It's one of the best like Blu-ray box art things that I've ever seen. It's so nice. Yeah, sorry, I kind of hijacked
No,
your-
it's all good. It's all good, man. Well, I like Alien. Alien's good. I just like horror and sci-fi. I think the difference between the two of us is I'm a bit more critical on movies,
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Very
Not
critical and more technical. You like things that are very technically
special
well
effects,
crafted, special effects,
story.
writing,
I guess
story
like
direction.
When I say story is in a very can be a technical thing. What I'm trying to say is more like how the things fit together, if they
Yeah.
fit together logically. Not
Yeah,
saying
and
that.
that is kind of technical, but also it makes sense.
Well, anyways, and then I guess I would say you're more of like I wouldn't say emotional, but like you prefer the more like heartfelt moments in movies, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And I
but-
mean, like, I haven't seen the original Superman. I really want to. I probably should. But from what I've heard, it's not the most well-made movie, but it just makes you like feel something, I guess. And
you never know. We might do that for a future podcast.
That would be really cool. Based on what I've seen and heard from that movie, it's supposed to be really good. Even though it's kind of cheesy and silly, it's still like
I mean, that's most superhero
it's very
movies.
yeah, but it's very human and well done and like has that kind of emotion.
I've always felt that the best superhero movies are the ones that are always really cheesy. But
Yeah,
I mean,
either super over the top and cheesy or very
like The Dark Knight.
focused and grounded.
Of course, everybody, well, most normal people like The Dark Knight.
I knew that was coming. We will talk about that one day.
Oh wait, I forgot. Never mind. Okay, guys, that'll be another podcast. I forgot all about that.
Ooh, that's going to be entertaining.
I forgot I was sitting across from a heretic. But anyways, so
I'm sorry, Christopher Nolan. You are a fantastic.
I don't
filmmaker,
think
but
Christopher
I don't-
Nolan is listening to our podcast.
He's just like he just knows all.
I'll be lucky to get my brother to even listen to this. Like, Christopher Nolan, if you are out there listening, I like your movies. Simple as that. I'd love your autograph.
The Prestige is your best one. He's never gonna listen to this. Why are we talking to him? The Prestige is Christopher Nolan's best movie. Dark Knight is overrated in my opinion, but
It's a
I'll
wrong
watch-
opinion, but that's
I'll watch
fine.
it again and we'll
That's
talk
fine.
about that on another podcast. We might spend like 2 hours for that.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. So mainly, what we want to do is sort of a little bit of a recap.
Here's another
of,
point. We want to keep it short, so
well, not too short.
not too short, but like
Nothing 5 to 6 hours long.
yeah. Another podcast that I like. His philosophy is to kind of keep it the same length as your dad's commute, and he would make jokes about that.
Yeah, which makes sense. That makes sense. This is going to be a bit more of like a recap
I'm
of
gonna
the
make a note
previous.
that was at 9 minutes and 30 seconds, just in case I want to cut it out.
So as I was saying, we're going to do a bit of a recap mainly of 2018, which, in case you aren't aware, the year we are in right now recording this is 2019. In case you're listening in 2020 or a few years future from that.
Yes. If it's the year 3072 and this is the last remaining piece of human culture, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I
I-
tried harder. I wish I put more effort into it. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, I thought you meant about this. I thought you meant like about
Just in general.
the human race, just
No,
keeping us here
I wish
and
my
alive.
life. I wish I tried harder in my life. I mean, hey, what could I do?
All right, so I'm gonna cut that introduction here. One more thing that we need to say before we go into the actual meat of our podcast. Explain the name. No mustard allowed.
What I want to say beforehand, I don't know where this came from.
the
Joel's the one who brought
explanation
this
for this is so ridiculous and stupid and pointless. I'll be right back. Jack, this is just for you. for a visual thing.
Okay, Joel's gone now. I'm talking with you guys. So really, the idea for this podcast is just to really just talk about movies and then whatever really we come up with. It's mainly, as I said, just a way to put this stuff on recording so we have it for later. This whole segment's probably going to get cut out because Joel's just left. He's gone out. Here he is.
So Jack, explain to our lovely listeners what you see before you.
He has a cheap piece of cardboard with "No mustard allowed" written in marker.
That's pretty much it.
This is it's just as confusing to me who can see it as for you people who are listening. I don't understand why he's showing me this, but now we have it.
It's just a piece of cardboard that I found in my basement like 5 years ago.
And it said "No mustard allowed."
It said "No mustard allowed," and me and my friend were like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing and hilarious." So I put on a sombrero, held this thing in front of a white background with some fluorescent lights shining at me, and you'll see this in our in all of my usernames or not profile pictures.
Yeah, your Letterboxd account has
YouTube,
that
Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram,
which we will plug all of at the end.
Yeah, we'll put all that in the description, so you don't have to remember anything. Also,
though I think we might be expecting a little bit too much that someone will want to follow us after this, but hey,
no,
there's nothing wrong with hoping.
At least my grandma will love it. All right. Anyway, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, Jack,
Joel,
we're gonna do a recap of last year and a look ahead to this year, 2019.
Look ahead. That's a fancy way of saying it.
Oh yes.
I'm more interested now. Originally, I didn't care, but now.
So, to start, what was your third favorite movie? We'll go back and forth. We'll go third, second, first. Third favorite movie from 2018.
That's a bit of a tough one for me. I saw quite a few movies actually last year. I guess
that came out last year, not that you saw last year.
Okay, third favorite movie from last year. Probably American Animals. I really enjoyed that film.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
It's really neat. It cuts between it's a true story.
Isn't it like a mixture of like a biopic and a documentary?
Yep, they actually cut between actors and then the real people from the event. It's pretty neat. It's a very unique movie.
Okay.
And I think it's not perfect. I think there's some things that happen in it that I'm not. I mean, this isn't really a full-on review. We're gonna save that for a future podcast.
We have enough time. We can go into it a little bit. I budgeted about 15 to 20 minutes for us talking about these movies, and we can go over that a little bit because we're not going to talk about the movies that we're looking forward to as much as the movies that we've already seen. So, elaborate. Don't spoil it for those who want to see it, like me.
Of course not.
But just tell us why you liked it, what fascinated you about it, and why people should watch it.
Well, it's very unique, which is something that I think with a lot of studio movies that are coming out, not that I promise studio movies, there's lots of studio movies I love. I don't know if that's going to even sound like, I feel like I just spoke really weirdly. But anyways, either way.
You're good.
So, brain, come back, brain.
I almost sang...
Joel, save me.
I almost sang Brain Be Come Back, but I'm gonna just forget that I. So
American Animals. It's a very unique movie.
Brain Be Come Back.
It's a unique movie. I like the style. It's very different. And I was saying about studio movies that a lot of times when we have so many superhero movies coming out, it's nice to see something that's a little bit different.
Yeah. And nothing against superhero movies. I love superhero movies.
I don't actually know if American Animals is a completely original idea. There might have been something before that, probably some foreign film or something I haven't seen. But for me at least, it's a very unique film that I hadn't seen. I mean, before.
It's not like widespread. So even if like one or two people have done that kind of idea before, it's not like a big thing.
Yeah, it's not like its own genre or anything. But I just really enjoyed the film. It's very unique. The characters were all interesting. I liked all the characters. I think that if I had to find an issue in it, I think that it's the characters in the movie related to the real people from the event very rarely interact in the movie. It happens in like two scenes.
What would be the purpose of that? Like, why would they have to?
Well, there's a point in the movie where two of the people from the actual event remember something happening differently. They say that they talked at a gas station. One says they talked at a party, and it shows the scene from two different ways, which is a great scene. I love that scene, just how easily they change between the two things.
I can imagine it. It just seems really cool,
neat.
Like how they could do that.
Yeah. But there's one point where the actor playing the character from the event and the actual person from the event, I know this is getting a little bit confusing, are sitting in a car, both of them at the same time. They're talking.
Wait, so the actor and the actual person
are
they're talking
in
the same place
they're talking
on screen?
they're talking about the scene. Like, so you think it happened this way? And he's like, yep, this is how I remember it, or something like that. Or either he said something along those lines. And thing is, as great as that is, I love it. That's like the only like one time that happens in the whole movie. So it feels a little bit out of place compared to the rest of the movie. If I were to rewatch it, I'd be like, oh yeah, there's that scene again. Why doesn't this happen again? Because I think it could have used something like that more than once. But it's not a major issue. Doesn't ruin the movie. Either way, I really
like
enjoyed
an odd little one-off thing.
It's just the one thing that I was just like, it feels a little bit out of place compared to the rest. There's other things that are sort of similar, but it's not the same, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
Let's do your third favorite movie.
This is hard because I know my first two, because two of them are my favorite movies some of my favorite movies of all time, because just so many great movies came out in 2018. But I think as many amazing movies that came out last year, You Were Never Really Here, Three Identical Strangers, First Man, all of those are amazing.
You Were Never Really Here? I thought that came out in 2017.
Well, on Letterboxd it says 2017 because that was when it was released in like film festivals. That's when it started its film festival circuit, but it actually came out in theaters in 2018. What was I saying? Where was I? I'm gonna have to say that my third favorite from last year was Avengers: Infinity War, because oh my god, that was just so insanely, like, first of all, like, the past 10 years of my life had been leading up to that movie. Like,
that's not sad. That's not sad at all. I understand.
Yeah.
I saw Iron Man.
Are you judging me?
No, I saw Iron Man in theaters too.
Yeah, but like, Iron Man was the first movie I remember seeing in theaters. I saw it with my dad, and that was the first time like we started seeing movies together. Just me and him, and it was just a really, that movie in particular, and all of the subsequent Marvel movies were and have been and are just so special to me because I've grown up with them, and I've just really enjoyed them my entire life. And this was just the perfect culmination. Like, any other person with this massive project, there's only a few people that could pull off having like almost, I think there was an estimate of like 60 characters on screen, and all of them got just enough that you didn't feel unsatisfied with if you had a favorite character, but also they focused on the more important characters and more important stories as much as they should have. Oh my gosh. And I don't deny that it's not perfect. There's some story issues. It's definitely one of the most technically impressive movies of last year, just from visual effects, and mainly that's it, because there's so much visual effects. Like, you look at behind the scenes pictures, and it's just the actors in their
it's all green
in their
screen.
mocap suits, which that's insanely impressive. And there were some I can't remember any specifically, but there were some.
Were there any practical effects in that movie?
There were some. What's it called? On location scenes that they filmed, but nothing like it. It's just really impressive, both from story and also just. I loved it so much. I nearly cried during the snap because I was just like me and my sister. I saw it on opening night. We didn't want any spoilers at all. We saw it the very, very first moment we could. I was annoying everybody in the theater because I was like, Catherine, look, you know what that is? And she's like, yes, I know. And we were like freaking out. It was so much fun. And I saw it 3 times in the theater, within that one weekend, and I think I saw it one more time in the theater because I just loved it that much. And it was such a spectacle to behold on screen.
Would you be fine with me calling you a Marvel fanboy then?
Oh, yes. I would call myself a Marvel fanboy. I don't think that everything they do is gospel, but...
Just almost all of it.
But, yeah, like, Captain Marvel was not a great movie, but I loved it. That's how much of a Marvel fanboy I was.
If you can't tell, Captain Marvel is is the recent Marvel movie.
Yeah,
which I have
it's the
not
most
seen.
recent one. It came out March 8th. We're recording this on March.
Well, let's not date the podcast, but that's fine. It's no problem.
It doesn't
I
matter.
haven't seen it yet, so.
You probably won't like it as much as I do.
I'm not as big. I like Marvel. I like quite a few of their movies. I think they're very well-made movies with good actors, good effects, good everything, really. And I don't think I'd put any of them in my favorites, I guess. I like a lot of them, but it just...
I think just that they've connected with me for so long.
Yeah.
And I understand if you don't like them as much. As I've gotten older, I've recognized that some of the movies, like Iron Man, one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, and one of my favorite Marvel movies, I recognize that it's not... Like, it's a phenomenal movie, but the one big flaw is the main villain played by Jeff Bridges.
The entire third act.
Yeah, kind of. It's Marvel needs to hire. This is one of my problems I had with Captain Marvel. They need to hire somebody who knows how to light and shoot a movie. Like, I don't understand why that's so hard to do. Like,
Well, clearly they're working fine even without that.
Yeah,
which is probably why they don't feel like changing anything, because they already feel like they've got it fine.
Yeah,
they have the system down, the series of events they have to put in a movie. They already have that down.
Yeah, but I mean, like with Guardians of the Galaxy, you had like James Gunn and all of his colorful stuff and his actually lit shots, both technically and figuratively. Literally and figuratively, because it was lit.
He just did an okay symbol, in case you couldn't tell, but
I hate myself. I'm sorry.
He doesn't have a camera here, so it was even more embarrassing than it sounded.
That motion was for you, Jack. It wasn't for them. They weren't supposed to know.
In case you couldn't tell, he was doing the okay symbol again. So, anyways,
I hate you and I hate myself.
I can live with that.
All right. So,
I mean, clearly I don't hate you that much because I'm sitting here doing a podcast with you.
I mean, that could be our angle for the podcast. We just absolutely hate each other, but we're spending hours upon hours with each other, just actively hating each other.
But that would be a lie, because I don't like you, but
I don't like you, but I don't hate you.
I mean, I'm really just indifferent.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyways, I guess we should move on to second favorite.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, this one's a bit of a tough one for me, because I really liked Mission Impossible 6. But I also really like Searching, which is another smaller film.
I haven't seen that.
I think I'm going to go with Mission Impossible. We'll talk about Searching another day when we can both watch it. But so Mission Impossible, I'm a really big fan of action movies. You grew up with superhero movies, which are action movies, but I grew up with stuff like Jackie Chan, and that's always been my dad's favorite stuff. So I've always grown up loving those kind of movies, and I still do. I just watched the original 2 Police Stories recently and love both of them, but completely different topics.
Are those Jackie Chan movies?
Those are his like 2 like most famous ones, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've just never heard of them.
I don't think they're in. Were they in English? I don't think they were. No, they weren't.
I haven't watched many kung fu movies. I've watched like Kung Fu Panda, and that's
it. Sort of. That counts. That counts. Anyways, that's
a good movie.
I think that Mission Impossible is a great movie, but it's not. I think it's hard to explain. I love action movies, and that's why it's one of my favorites now of the year. But I think, technically speaking, it's more closer to like a 7 out of 10, 7 or maybe 8.
But like,
the thing I love about it is just how cleanly the action is shot in that film.
The practical effects in it are amazing too.
And Tom Cruise just being himself is great.
Tom Cruise is an absolute madman.
He really is.
What would the movie industry do without Tom Cruise?
Well, they'd have Jackie Chan, who's like does even more crazy stuff than.
But he's like 70 or something now.
And he still wants to be in movies. That's why he's so. I mean, Tom Cruise is what, like 50 something?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
They're both getting up there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I'm wrong.
I'm just surprised both of them have survived for so long. I mean, they really do some crazy stuff, strapping themselves to sides of planes, you know?
The scene where he, like, fell from the rope on the helicopter,
Yeah.
I don't think that was scripted or anything. I think that was just an accident and they put it in the movie because it was cool. I think he just, like...
Who knows?
That's actually what it looked like. Like, it looked like he just fell and everybody was like, oh, crap, he's gonna die. And then he caught himself and they're like, oh, my God. He's amazing. We have to put that in the movie.
I could have been. All I'm saying is the scene that
but...
the most memorable scene from the movie for me is the bathroom scene.
Oh my gosh,
where
that's such
him
a good
and Henry
fight scene.
Cavill are fighting. Well, him and Henry Cavill are fighting the two.
The one Asian guy.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since I've seen the movie.
I don't remember the character's name.
Last time I saw it was when it was in theaters, so it's now that it's
that was a great movie to see in theaters.
It's March now, so it's been a little bit, but it's so good.
It came out in July or August.
And I had like a nearly empty theater when I saw it. There was like only like 5 or 6 other people, and they had like the reclining seats. I had popcorn.
Did you see it at Tinseltown?
It was either Tinseltown or AMC. Well,
okay. Do we want to say like where we are?
Let's bleep those two things out.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Well, AMC is fine. AMC is fine because that's a big brand. But
yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Either way, I just really enjoyed the movie. I love the action scenes. They're shot so well. The stunts done by Tom Cruise are great. The story is, serviceable.
What did you think about Henry Cavill and his god tier mustache?
I'm glad that he saved it instead of shaving it off.
Yeah.
For what was it?
Justice League.
And they ended up spending like how much money to CGI it off? Ugh.
And it didn't even look good.
It looked bad.
I didn't even watch that movie.
Oh, I saw it. I think I saw the extended cut.
I'm so sorry. You saw the Snyder cut?
Pretty much. Yeah, it wasn't very good. It's not the worst movie ever, but it's pretty close.
I just don't want to waste my time with that because
Either way, we were talking about Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Henry Cavill's great. He's really great in the movie. He's a good actor. I love just all the special effects. The practical stuff's great. It's really it's a very likable movie, I guess, is an easy way to put it, which is why it's one of my favorites now.
And it's just so exciting, too. Like, you get that sense of adrenaline from all the... Especially knowing that it's real.
Same reason I love Jackie Chan movies, just to see, Jackie Chan actually, hitting people.
I haven't seen any of his movies, but I have seen some clips of his stunts, and it's so insanely impressive how he just destroys people. It's so cool.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder how many takes it takes for some of those takes it takes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
how many takes it takes?
How many takes it takes to take the shot?
Yeah.
But anyways, so one day we'll do a podcast episode on Jackie Chan. Because I'm a big fan personally.
We'll have a marathon of your favorite Jackie Chan movies, and we'll just talk about Jackie Chan as an actor and a person and a martial artist, and about some of the movies. That sounds great.
For now, I guess we switched over to your second favorite movie.
This is... You know what? No, it's not difficult, because I know what my favorite was. This movie is the second movie that ever made me cry, and I watched it on my phone, which...
Troll 2.
that made me cry from laughter. We're doing a podcast.
I don't know
on
when that kid turned to slime. I felt some emotions. Anyways, I don't think we should do an episode on that. That's already been talked to death about. Troll 2. That's a very famous bad movie.
Anyway, a movie called 8th Grade. Oh my gosh, if you've seen it, the fireplace scene killed me.
I have not seen it.
I was weeping. It was amazing. And if you want to see it, look out for the fireplace scene. Also, it's an R-rated movie for some F words and some adult themes. But I do think if you're a parent or a parent, then you should watch it first. See if your kids could handle it, because every kid is different. But sometime in high school, I think on their last day of 8th grade or their day before their last night before high school, their first day of high school, I think it's important to watch this movie because it's just amazing. It's about this girl in her last week of 8th grade, and it's just about the different kinds of struggles that kids deal with these days, and also just like, even if you didn't have these, that was the ice machine. Even
professional here, guys. Professional.
Even as an adult who has teenage kids now, you probably grew up in like the 80s or 90s.
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to
no,
the
I
listeners.
don't have any children.
Jack,
I did
shut
say
up.
I'm between the ages of 1 and 90, but don't have any children.
Jack, shut up. I'm not talking to you.
Hey, I gotta light it up.
This is an important message to our listeners because this is a very important movie that I think everybody should watch at one point in their life.
That's some high praise.
It's amazing, and also I just love it. But you know, even without all these things that make life difficult in different ways, that middle school is just the worst. Like, you yourself, looking back on what you did in middle school, you're just like, I don't know about anybody else, but I cringe when I think about myself in middle school. And also, just like, kids in middle school are just the worst. There's some cool middle school kids, but they're just, yeah. And it's just, I don't know what I can even say about this movie, because it's such an emotional and heartfelt movie, and you just feel it in your soul. And
so clearly this movie meant a lot to you then.
oh my gosh.
And this is one of your top 4 favorite movies.
This is my 3rd favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
It's amazing.
So you have them numbered then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was directed by, written and directed by first-time director Bo Burnham, who is a phenomenal musical comedian. He is extremely, extremely explicit. If you're into that kind of stuff, look up some of his stand-up. He's got some shows on Netflix.
And you're a big fan of him, right?
Oh my gosh, he's a genius. He's
okay. That's high praise. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just so. He's just amazing. Just listen to all of his stuff chronologically. He's got a Comedy Central special. It's about 30 minutes. Then, what's his next special?
And this is if they enjoyed 8th grade, right?
This is if you enjoyed 8th grade. Maybe watch 8th grade after you watch all these, or no, watch 8th grade first, because that's much.
So
more
if you
palatable.
enjoyed 8th grade, you should, and you really liked the director's work, then you should look into his other stuff. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, and if you're okay with extremely explicit humor and stuff like that, he's very dark and what's it called? Inappropriate.
I guess that works.
Yeah, but oh my god, 8th grade is.
Which we might do a future episode on, because I haven't seen it.
I would love to. I think we should do episodes for all of our favorite movies eventually.
Yeah, like our actual, not like your movies, but like our favorite actual movies, I guess.
Yeah.
If that made sense to you guys out there listening.
Most of this is just for us
all two
to
of
try to kind of figure this out. But if you enjoy it, then that's great.
Yeah,
we love it.
This is definitely a listen in the car ride, or listen in the background kind of podcast.
Yeah, most podcasts I listen to, I try to listen to them while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah, same for me. It's just this is kind of just an idea. If you really enjoy our smooth talking voices, well, mine and then Joel.
We are approaching the lower time limit. The lower time estimation that I had set for our thing.
Is that the full time lit?
That's the full time, yeah.
Okay. Well, we got some time still.
Yeah, we've got some time.
We're down to our favorites now, so I mean,
yeah,
we can fit one more, I guess.
Yeah, and then we
one
can
more from each.
briefly mention our. Yeah, we've got time. I'm just.
Saying, yeah.
I rambled a little bit.
Anyways, this is the first episode, so I think we should be okay with making it a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah.
But then from then on, we'll make it shorter.
But yeah. Anyway, watch 8th grade. Watch it with your kids if you have them. If you think they can handle it.
With your toddlers.
No, watch it
for the
with,
whole family.
Watch it with your 8th graders. Watch it with your 9th graders and high schoolers. and talk to them about it because it's amazing. Jack, what was your favorite movie of 2018?
Okay, so here's where I realized I made a mistake. Because
Okay.
I forgot to mention Hereditary, which is a fantastic horror film. It's not my favorite movie of the year, but I would definitely want to
Honorable
just give it a quick honorable mention. Yep, of just like if you really like horror, it's a fantastic movie to check out. And now I'm going a little bit off topic here, real quick.
Okay.
Don't worry, guys, that when we do podcasts on singular movies, we'll get a lot more in depth on them, and you know the word I meant to say
in-depth.
there. Yeah, get a lot more like just talk about more about the details and get more into like specific scenes. This is more just a quick personality type thing where we talk about our personalities, what we liked, and then see if you really like it.
Yeah.
Then you can tune into more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will set us apart just as individuals being ourselves, and
Yep.
make it interesting.
So my number one movie for the year is of course First Man with Ryan Gosling, and who is the lady in that?
Claire Foy.
Claire Floyd.
She has my favorite line in the whole movie. You know what line I'm talking about.
I don't remember.
I don't want to number me, Neil.
Yeah.
Like I can't do it justice, partially because I can't say the word that she says on this family-friendly podcast. But
This Christian podcast.
this good, clean Christian Minecraft server. Is that still a relevant meme?
That's not.
No.
No, it is not.
The people listening to this are just our friends and family. None of them are going to get that. Never mind.
Oh, it's fine. Well, I'm sure there's at least one other guy out there.
Josh will get it. Josh, Micah, Jacob, if they listen to it.
My cat.
What?
Emmy will get it. Or my cat.
Oh, my cat. I thought you said Mike Hat. I was
Oh my gosh.
I was so confused.
Isn't that a?
I thought.
Is that an Office joke? Or no, that's a Ghostbusters 3 joke. Oh, I hate that movie. There's actually a joke in it where the guy goes like, Chris Hemsworth goes, "Oh yeah."
That's not the actual Ghostbusters 3. The actual Ghostbusters 3 is coming out next year.
Yeah, let's not get that mixed up. You get the idea. Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which is what it's titled on the Blu-ray release. Anyways,
the one with Chris Hemsworth.
There's a very similar joke in that.
And the SNL girls.
Yeah, anyways, there's a similar joke in that I don't think was intentional. Anyway, so First Man's my favorite movie. It's a very well-made film. I'm a big fan of the director. He did Whiplash and La La Land, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which are both great movies.
Phenomenal
both
movies.
Recommendations. There's not a lot to really, I guess, to say because everything about it is just well-made craft.
And
all the scenes are good. I don't know about the historical accuracy of the film. I know the. Once again, my brain has given up on me.
Yeah.
But I know that some people said differently.
For those who don't know, it's about Neil Armstrong. Ryan Gosling plays Neil Armstrong going to the moon. That's basically all you need to know about
Well, if you're listening to this movie podcast, I think you would know what the movie's about, but that's fine. Just saying. Anyways, I think it's a well-made film. I don't know if the historical accuracies of it. Either way, it's a well-made film that's good. I can't really use those terms much more times just to explain it because it's just that's the case. It is a good, well-made film.
I don't think it's his best.
Technically,
I think it's better than the student film he did. We're talking about Damien Chazelle, the guy who directed.
I have not seen a short film.
It's not a short film.
okay.
It's a feature film, but
Which
it's
I have
like
not seen.
It's pretty good.
Madeline and Guy on a park bench, right?
Guy and Madeline on a park bench.
Okay,
Yeah,
close
and
enough.
It's like a kind of a jazz musical. It's sweet. It's cute.
I haven't seen it, but I'm just a big fan of the 3 films I have seen from the director. Of course, Whiplash, La La Land.
Those other 2 are better, but First Man was really good. I'm kind of sad because that's my favorite director. He directed my favorite movie of all time, La La Land. I'm kind of sad that wasn't my favorite movie of the year, but I am glad that this my favorite movie of the year exists.
Come out that year, right?
What? No. First Man. Sorry. I'm sad that First Man wasn't my favorite movie.
Yeah, you
movie
expected
of the year.
a little bit more from it. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I think it's easily.
It's not even
my
that I
number one
expected more of
favorite
it.
for me.
I just wish that I liked it more. I really liked it, and it was really well done, and it was a great movie. But I just wish I liked it
all
more.
the space scenes. All the space scenes are so good.
In the first 5 minutes, I already wished I had seen it in the theaters.
Which
I already
I
regretted
can't
not
remember.
seeing it.
I think I did see it in the theaters with my dad, and that was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. Even though for some reason we decided to sit in like the corner of the theater and like the screen looked all wonky, but it was just like the two of us in the theater. Like it was really quiet. Like whenever it got really quiet in the movie, the whole theater would be quiet, and it's like that just rarely happens. And where we live, at least, our theaters tend to be a bit obnoxious at times. I don't know. Maybe we can do another podcast on bad theater experiences.
That would be interesting. That's one thing. I know you didn't like this movie, but A Quiet Place last year. Everybody in the theater with us, I think I saw it with my mom, which was weird because neither of us are a fan of horror, which we thought it was more of a horror movie. It turned out to be more of a thriller.
Turned out to be more like a bad movie. Yeah, I understand.
You've shut your mouth. That was a great movie.
If you can't tell, we have very different opinions on that.
We're gonna milk that for some of our episodes.
It's gonna appear in many episodes from now on.
Talk about Quiet Place, Dark Knight. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we differ. I think that's one of the big things about our podcast.
But you have to admit that it definitely works better when it's very quiet in certain scenes. And
well, no, because then they ruin it with like a really obnoxious jump scare, like every single time.
I need to watch it again, but I don't think I agree. But everybody in the theater had this reverence for the silence of the movie of the theater. Everybody was completely silent for the movie, and nobody made a sound at all. And it was really, it was a really great movie theater experience. And also I just enjoyed watching it with my mom because
well, anyways, The Quiet Place was even a topic we were really going to get to. Sorry about that, guys.
She got really scared at some points and it was really funny.
Anyways, we differ on The Quiet Place. Where were we beforehand? Do you remember? Because
you were talking about your favorite movie of the year,
First Man, which is as I've said, it's good. I've already said that probably 6 times, but it's true. I think the one thing I didn't like was the shaky cam is used way too much. And
I like the way it's used, but it makes sense. It's not bad, but I think they saw it and they saw how well it was done, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this looks so good. We have to do this more." And they overdid it.
Yeah. I just didn't particularly. I've never really liked shaky cam in almost any film. I don't think I've seen it used very well yet. But of course, there's might be future movies I see.
Yeah.
Because that's the idea. Another thing that podcast is really going to be about is just we're pretty not new to film, but we're pretty young. Young-ish.
Young men.
33 and a half.
Do you want to say that you're a man?
I am a man. How dare you? Is that an insult?
I thought you might want to keep that restricted from the listeners because you're restricting all of your other personal information.
Hey, cut this, please. You're embarrassing me.
I will not cut this. I will cut all the other things, but not this.
Hey, there's some like weird people on the internet or something like that.
I'll make a note to cut it, but
that's cool. Whatever you want to do, man. Anyway, so I like The First Man. The First Man.
The First Man.
That's a different movie. I'm sure there's already a movie titled that. Yeah, I like the director. He's put together some really well movies. I like First Man also because of I like how it shows what it's like to be in a spaceship. I can tell like this looks like how it expected to be, and I love how they have like there's things that aren't prepared in the spaceship correctly. It looks like it's been put together with like duct tape and bubble gum.
Yeah,
and it makes it a lot more terrifying when they go up.
And the whole thing is like shaking, and you feel like there are moments where you feel like the whole thing could just fall apart in midair.
Historically, we know that Neil Armstrong doesn't die there, but either way, it's still terrifying.
Yeah, and that story hasn't been like ingrained in our brains so much that we can. Like I was able to put that aside, put my historical knowledge aside, and just engross myself in the movie, because of how well the movie is made, and it just felt so tense.
Yeah,
I think there were just things that I didn't know about Neil Armstrong. The first few minutes that surprised me.
Well, I'm not sure. As I said, I'm not sure about the historical accuracies of the movie, but I think the thing I liked about it is it's very easy to put yourself in Neil Armstrong's shoes, I guess, for the spot and see like this is what he experienced. Then like if I hate to do this. Just if it was historically accurate, this is you put your feet in your feet in Ryan Gosling's shoes. I guess is a better way of putting it, and you really like feel just as terrified as his character does.
Yeah, and also the scene where he just kind of he just starts crying, and the only way you can do that, the way he does, is if you really feel that emotional pain, and you could just tell, like he felt it.
Yeah, the acting is
that was
top-notch
just
there.
so good. I wasn't even I was sad when that thing happened that made Ryan Gosling cry, but I wasn't like really emotionally moved by it until he started to cry, and I was just like, oh my gosh. First of all, it's just impressive, and also just it's just so well done, so well written, so well acted, everything about it.
I know it might come off now that if you've actually lasted this long in the podcast.
Minutes.
Yeah, 50 minutes. Well, that's how it is when we cut things. Maybe it might be a little bit shorter.
It'll be like maybe 30 seconds shorter.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
There wasn't much to cut.
It might sound a lot like we're just praising over and over again on these movies, but I assure you that it's just because we're talking about our favorites here. Of course, we're going to praise them as we get along.
And also, we don't have enough time to go into the details.
I'm sure there's going to be a time when we both watch a movie and we're both going to hate it, or a time when one of us will disagree, which is kind of the idea. One of the things I think will be a big deal with our podcast that might set it apart somewhat is the fact that we will disagree, and I have no problem with doing that. Joel, and I expect the same from Joel. If I dislike a movie, I'm going to say it to him. That's just how things go.
I think next week, are we set to on the that one movie that we're going to talk about next podcast? Do you agree with that one? I told you about it earlier.
I don't remember.
I don't want to spoil it.
Why not? We can watch that movie, whichever one that was.
We're gonna do Little Shop of Horrors next, which the musical version, which I love, but we're gonna go into the details of it, what we liked and what we didn't like, and that's gonna be more of the status quo for our podcast. Anyway. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to say about First Man?
No, I think I've said good enough times and well made.
Yeah.
Did you want to do anticipated films?
I've got one more.
Okay. Right. Yeah, you have one more.
And because I just don't stop talking about this movie, my favorite movie of 2018, my second favorite movie of all time, was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Oh my gosh. We should just make all superhero movies animated now, because
I disagree.
I disagree with myself too. But you know what I mean. You saw the movie. You saw how impressive it was and how much they could do with the medium. And
we both disagree on this movie.
Yeah.
I like the movie. I'm not going to say anything differently. I think it's an easy 6 out of 10 for me.
I disagree. I think it's a solid 10 out of 10.
Wow.
It's a visual and storytelling masterpiece. It's just...
You should have said Marvel.
Dang it, Jack. I wouldn't have even thought of that until you said it.
I had to ruin it. Sorry, Joel.
It's a visual and storytelling marvel.
There we go. You can cut out the other part and just pretend you came up with that yourself.
No, but all of the different Spider-Man, Spider people, are so the Spider-Ham, the Japanese one with the robot, and Nick Cage,
Anime
Spider-Girl. All of them really didn't have to be in the movie, but I loved that they were in the movie and didn't really mess with the flow of it. Mm-hmm. They were just entertaining and funny, and they all had different art styles, like Spider-Man Noir, who was played by Nicolas Cage, who was one of my favorite characters in the movie. He's black and white and very dark and brooding, but to a funny extent that it's kind of making fun of that kind of character, but also takes it a little bit seriously. And then there's Spider-Ham, who's played by John Mulaney, who's one of my favorite comedians. And he's in a very Looney Tunes style. animation and just sound effects and all that. He has a hammer that he can pull out of his pocket that doesn't make any sense, and it's hilarious.
It's very Looney Tunes-esque.
It's very Looney Tunes. And the anime Spider-Girl is, as you would expect, drawn like an anime. And
yeah, it's neat to see all the different art styles.
yeah, and how they blend but don't conflict with each other. It's really impressive. And the comic book art style and the way they kind of blend CG with hand-drawn stuff. I was actually listening to the American Cinematographers podcast. That's a weirdly hard word to say. And they were talking about that movie and just all of the different things that went into that and went into designing this world. It was so fascinating. If you have time, definitely check out American Cinematographers podcast and that episode of it.
Which episode would that be? Do you have
the most recent.
Well, yeah, but
it's just called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'll look it up.
Well, either way, I like the movie.
yeah,
I think it's well made. But I think it's definitely not the best Spider-Man movie. I think.
Oh, it's not the best. Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero movie.
Glad we're on the same page here.
Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero movie ever made. It's amazing. But it's not my favorite. I like others more than that one because I've connected with them more and on an emotional level and just yeah. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because it's just amazing. And also, I don't want to spoil anything for those of you who haven't seen it. It's coming out. It's out on digital.
I would definitely recommend it. I think Joel, giving it a 10 out of 10, would definitely recommend it.
It's episode 94 of the American Cinematographer podcast.
And what is that on? That doesn't look like YouTube.
It's just on any podcast website. I'm using Castbox.
I just don't have that.
I mean, it's just one of the
Sorry, I had to bring it back to myself, obviously. The real star here.
Jack is the one with the deep, manly voice who
and the
just
talent.
No.
Wow, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm kidding. No, when we recorded, when we tested this microphone about 2 hours ago, he was shocked by how deep and manly his voice sounded.
Okay, let's not get into that. That doesn't matter. It was funny to me. Okay, I was telling a joke about it. Never mind.
I'm trying to embarrass you because you've embarrassed me.
Oh well, yeah. Well, you shouldn't make it so easy.
Well played.
Anyways, I think, do we have time for anything else?
We've got some minutes. We can talk about our 3 most anticipated movies of the year, and we won't have much to say about these.
So anyways, just more movies we love. We're expecting.
So what's your 3rd most anticipated movie of the year?
Easily Godzilla, the King of Monsters. I'm a big fan of Godzilla. I'm a really big fan of the original one from 1954. I think it is. Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that. I have seen the 2014 one, and I enjoyed it.
It's so cool to see how they blend just like mindless destruction with like a very clear message of the horrors of the atomic bombs they're dropped on. Mm-hmm. And it's just a very clear and very good mix, I guess, of those two things that makes it into such a excellent movie. Yeah. I really like that movie. And also it's cool to see the guy in the rubber suit smash miniatures. That's just fun too. But that's why, and the new one, which is going to be directed by the guy who did, I don't remember his name, but he directed Trick or Treat, which is a pretty good horror film, and Krampus, which is a really great children's horror film. At least
why is it a children's horror film? That doesn't make sense to me.
It's PG-13, I guess, and it like works well for like a sort of kids horror film. There's a lot of language in it, I guess.
Oh, I just looked it up on IMDb, and it's got Adam Scott in it. I love that.
Oh yeah, it's also got Toni Collette from Hereditary in it as well. Cool. Yeah, it's got some language in it and a couple jokes that maybe might be better suited for adults. But I think overall, if your child really likes horror, reads a lot like Goosebumps or something like that, they would really enjoy it. It's one of those kind of. Obviously, I recommend you look up the Common Sense Media thing. That's what I do. I recommend looking up.
That's really good because you can look at different sections. Like you can look at the violence and the language and positive messages. And
pretty much. I'm trying not to put myself in a hole here and then get yelled at for recommending a movie with lots of language. So I'm saying.
Well, he did. He wrote the screenplay for Krampus and Trick or Treat and Godzilla. He did also write the story for X-Men Apocalypse,
which isn't as good.
He did write the screenplay for X-Men 2, which is one of the best.
Yes, one of the best X-Men movies. So I think that I mainly go by directing what they've directed. Screenplay also can sometimes be an influence.
Yeah, and also if you write and direct at the same time, it's your movie.
It's your movie then.
Everything starts with the script.
Yep, which is why I like both those movies. I think Trick or Treat and Krampus are really great movies. Krampus is even better, and that's why I'm excited for Godzilla. I think it looks. I love that the trailer looks so cool with all the blue and stuff, like blue colors and stuff, and it just it looks
and
cool.
all the different monsters.
I'm not expecting something as good as Godzilla 1954, but I'm expecting a fun movie, which is something.
Also, it has the girl from Stranger Things in it, which she's just a fantastic actress.
I mean, I don't really care about the human actors. I'm more there for Godzilla, which is why I've been kind of disappointed with the latest couple of Godzilla movies
that have tried to focus on the people and the characters.
I think the last one, Godzilla 2014, was fine. I guess
I enjoyed it. It was the only Godzilla movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, actually, now I'm thinking on it. We might need to do a podcast episode on that because I now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not remembering anything good. But of course, Godzilla 1999. Oof, that's a classic. Oh, what a classic film!
Oh no!
With like the Godzilla that's like a raptor or like a giant T-Rex and not like a Godzilla. Well, anyways, so I really like Godzilla 1954, and its sequel isn't too bad either. Godzilla Raids Again. It's totally like a studio cash grab, but it's still an enjoyable film. So that's a recommendation for me. What's your number 3 anticipated film?
This is difficult because there are a lot of movies that I'm looking forward to this year. But there was one that my dad and I are both looking forward to that I just found looking through IMDb because I was bored one day. Have you ever read Call of the Wild by Jack London?
No, I think I've
Have I asked you that question
probably,
before?
but it's fine. It's okay.
Or asking it for the podcast.
Yep. I have not.
Well, it's a great book about a dog who gets adopted into.
Don't like dogs.
Jack, shut up.
That's that disclaimer.
You were
disclaimer.
You were
I
just
love dogs. Okay.
Yeah, you were just saying this morning how much you love my dog.
That's a bit of a joke. You couldn't really get there. Sorry, guys, for people listening through audio.
We just glared at each other.
Because no reason. There's nothing that could have been interpreted from what Joel said. Nothing else. Nothing there.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, legitimately, I don't know what you're talking about. You have to explain. You'll have to explain after we turn off the mic.
Yeah, after the mic. Anyways, I just like dogs. Dogs are
off
cool.
the air.
Pretty much all I meant was dogs are cool. But
anyway, it's a great book. I'm sure a lot of you have read it for school or something. Jack is homeschooled, so he doesn't count. He's not an actual person.
Just some bumbling country kid. Anyways, Joel, what else is there?
But it's written and directed by two of the guys who wrote and directed. Let's see if I can remember. Beauty and the Beast,
Which
Mulan, the original, the good one.
Okay, the good one. Good.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, Lion King, I think.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. The first How to Train Your Dragon, Lilo and Stitch, and a lot of other of those kids Disney movies that are actually really good.
Yeah, the good ones.
Yeah. Also, The Croods, which that was the only one that was like.
Did that one have
bad
Nicolas,
to mediocre?
I think
it
Nicolas
did have
Cage.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage voiced somebody in that. I think he might have been the dad or something.
I think it had Emma Stone in it too.
Either way, you were talking about.
It wasn't a good movie.
So they're making an adaptation.
That was one misfire out of like 10 or 15 really good movies that he did. I'm blanking on all the other movies that he did.
Well, and so they're adapting this into a movie.
So they're adapting it into a movie, and it's got Harrison Ford, Dax Shepard, I think. Don't quote me on that. And Karen Gillan from Doctor Who and
is that the
Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
Season 11 lady?
No, she was with Matt Smith. She was Amy Pond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up. But it's coming out this year. Dan Stevens. I always get those two mixed up. But one thing I'm really glad about is that they have not cast a voice for the dog, so it doesn't look like they're doing anything like they did with like A Dog's Purpose or A Dog's Way Home, where they have like the dog's head or voice in their head, voiced by a human.
Was there?
Which I hate that.
Was there something like that in the book, or was
No.
it not?
Well, the dog kind of had some thoughts, but never really like voiced in English. It just kind of the narrator just kind of said what the dog was thinking. The dog didn't actually think anything in English. It's just a great book, and my dad and I, who we both love Jack London and Call of the Wild, we're both really excited for that. And also, Harrison Ford is just great. If he's doing something that he actually wants to do.
When he's not in Ender's Game. I was just telling Joel earlier, that movie, every time I see it, Harrison Ford looks like he's...
We've got to do that one too, because that's another one that you hate, but I like.
Yeah, I just every time I see Harrison Ford in that, he just looks like he wants to take a nap. He looks so exhausted and just tired.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if that's my joke. I might have stolen that from somebody. Don't quote me on it. I don't remember.
I mean, if you didn't actively steal it from somebody...
Well, didn't intentionally steal it, so...
It may not be the most original joke, but you didn't steal it.
Okay.
Anyway, second favorite, most anticipated movie of the year. Second most anticipated.
Well, this one's kind of like a duh one, which is John Wick 3.
Yeah.
As an action movie person, as I've said before already, of course I'm going to be excited for this one. It's pretty simple. That's pretty much all there is to say about it. If you aren't excited for John Wick 3, then you either don't like action movies or, there's something else. I don't know. I don't have anything. Just saying John Wick 3 looks great. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on John Wick 3?
I haven't seen the first two. I really want to.
Yeah, that's one of our podcast episodes. Once it comes out, we'll probably see those two and then the third one in theaters and just do a quick podcast on it.
The trailers for all three of them look great.
Yep.
I've heard great things about them, but I just haven't seen them yet.
There's nothing that hasn't already been said about them. So now your second?
I should say before I say this, I am not a horror fan. I didn't like The Shining, which is another movie we need to talk about because you...
Yeah, you heard that right, people. He didn't like The Shining. I don't know why, but that's going to be a podcast episode. And I will tell him how wrong he is. Okay, now back to what you were saying.
But I'm not a fan of that. This isn't the reason I didn't like The Shining, but I'm not a fan of being scared. I just don't see the point in it. But I am really, really excited for Jordan Peele's Us. It's coming out a few weeks from now. Is that already out? It came out in South by Southwest, and it's getting some really good reviews already.
Oh, okay.
I love everything that Jordan Peele... I haven't seen Get Out yet, but I've heard great things about it. And I've just loved everything that Jordan Peele has done. He was great in Key and Peele. Most every episode of that was great. All their skits. He's done a show on YouTube called Weird City. It's the YouTube Premium thing. It's a YouTube original. But the first couple episodes are free, and the first couple episodes are great. And that show is created by him. And he's also he's really, really busy. He's doing all kinds of stuff. He's doing Us. He's doing Weird City. He's hosting Twilight Zone.
I heard about that. Yeah.
I think there's something else he's doing. But yeah, I love Jordan Peele, and I'm really excited for Us. It just looks like a great horror movie.
I have neither. I haven't seen Get Out either.
We need to watch that and then go see Us and then talk about both of those.
Which is fine, yeah. No, I'm not exactly. I don't know much about Jordan Peele, so I think that'd be a really cool episode to do, where I'll be really introduced to his.
You should watch Weird City. It's like 30 minutes long. It's
okay. Well, I'll add that to the list.
Yeah, it's another one of those like Black Mirror, Twilight Zone type anthology shows, but it's more of like a comedic twist on that kind of idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
That gets my attention. Okay, so I guess I should do. Do you have anything else to say?
I think we have one more that we're. So, what's your most anticipated movie?
That's why I was checking if you had any more to say. Jordan Peele.
I thought you meant like for the podcast itself.
my easy number one I'm most anticipating is The Lighthouse, which is a film that's going to be directed by.
I've not heard of this.
Robert Eggers. It's the guy who directed The Witch, which is one of my favorite horror films.
He texted me at like 1 a.m. a month ago and said, I can't sleep because of this
That
movie.
That was a terrifying movie. That genuinely got under my skin.
He did not stop talking about that for like weeks. He said it messed him up for like at least a week.
It really did. It's so unique, I guess. I don't know. I don't
know if I want to watch that, but I'm also intrigued because that just sounds really good. It's so well done.
There's not much. If you haven't seen The Witch, I don't want to say anything to spoil it. It's a movie that's worth seeing.
Also,
if you like horror,
like I said with 8th Grade and Bo Burnham, if you're a parent watching movies with your kids, do not watch The Witch with your kids at all. Bad idea.
Do you know anything about it?
No, but I know that it freaked you out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you like horror movies.
That's kind of a standard thing. Just if you're going to show your kids a horror film, look it up, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, look up any movies that you're showing your kids.
Do your own parenting.
I'm sure you guys are. Yeah. You guys have
you guys
have gotten your kids this far. Yeah. I'm sure you know how to keep them alive.
If you're a parent, do it yourself. Don't be looking to a couple of kids to tell you how a couple of strong burly men. Sorry, my mistake there.
We're adults.
Yeah, we're totally adults. Yeah, there's nothing. We're not a couple of like toddlers just saying shocking or anything.
I mean, you did say you're between 1 and 90, so it's entirely possible that you're just a 5-year-old with a large brain and a deep voice.
Thank you. I do have a large brain. Thank you.
Large brain for a 5-year-old.
That helps with my ego quite a bit.
A large brain for a 5-year-old. Not a large brain for a bleep-year-old.
What? I get it, but like...
That joke didn't really work. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
let's continue because we're running out of time. We don't want to.
So let's just speed this up. Lighthouse. It looks like it's gonna be black and white, which is kind of interesting. I think it's gonna be probably shot on film. One of those kind of like like really indie films. So it could be a bit,
It could be pretentious.
Yeah,
but it could be.
It's already got Willem Dafoe signed up for it, who I love. Green Goblin.
I love Willem Dafoe.
And also Robert Pattinson, which is the guy from Twilight.
He's better in Harry Potter.
And he's also really great in Good Time, which is another film that it's a high recommendation for me. It's another episode. We will do an episode on Good Time.
Okay. I've never even heard of it.
Trust me, it's good. It's got Robert Pattinson, and he's really good in it. Anyways, that's about it. I really want to see The Lighthouse. I love horror, so I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Obviously, as soon as I said that my favorite movie last year was Infinity War, you knew that my most anticipated movie this year is Avengers Endgame. That I'm just hoping and praying that will be good. Please, dear God, let that be a good movie. Oh my gosh.
Please don't have like Captain Marvel show up like near the very end, punch Thanos once, and then leave.
Oh, that would kill me.
That would. There's nothing else.
If Captain Marvel just comes and just saves everyone with her super crazy Superman powers that are way too overpowered, then I will walk out of the theater.
Oh, yeah, I'd easily walk out of the theater. Let's be honest.
That would hurt me. But I trust the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige enough not to do that.
Yeah.
I don't trust them enough not to mess up the movie. But I do trust them enough that I think that it will be great. Avengers: Infinity War was great. I think.
Yeah, I have expectations that are not exactly high, but I expect that it will be good.
Oh my gosh, it's so close. It's like a week. It's like a month.
We still have
a month and a half away.
The Spider-Man 2, is that coming out after, or will Spider-Man Far From Home?
It's coming out like
after,
in July.
Or is that out?
Yeah, it's after.
Okay, where's the Infinity War Part 2 coming out?
April 26th.
Okay. Oh wow, that is soon.
I know.
You can't tell I'm not exactly informed on the Marvel movies, but I guess we kind of gotten most of our stuff out. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say. Infinity War Part 2. Everybody wants to see this movie.
Everybody has seen Infinity War.
Yeah, and everyone wants to see the Part 2. Yeah, if you were to skip that, it'd be like skipping the final Lord of the Rings movie. You just don't do that.
Yeah. I saw something on Twitter today that said that the Wakanda scene in Infinity War could have been the MCU's Helm's Deep, like from Two Towers, but they just didn't. It could have been that amazing battle war scene but they just and I agree.
I don't know if I see it.
No. They didn't quite do that. They could have made it amazing, but it wasn't quite that. And I thought back on it, and I was like, oh yeah, it wasn't quite as good as it could have been.
I'm not going to cut you short here, Joe, but we do have a little. We're really running out of time.
Yeah.
So we're really just, as you can, it's pretty obvious. This is a very simple podcast.
Yeah, very free form.
Very
not
informal.
Really
very not good. Maybe I don't know yet.
No, I think it's good. I think just our conversation and letting it kind of flow, but with some structure to it. I think that's been good, and of course we can work on it. But I think the basic foundation of it is pretty good.
I think we have some decent ideas here. I think as we go along, and of course, I hope that it'll get better. Hopefully, it won't go down even further. But this is just about it. I mean, talked about some movies here. Guess, do you want to plug
Catherine just texted me from the other room and said super cringeworthy.
Yeah, I agree. Sounds about right. I know. So it's just, do you want to go ahead and plug your media then?
Yeah. So we'll have this all in the description, but just for posterity, I think that's the word. Well, first of all, thank you guys for listening, and this is pretty much it.
Thank you for making it this far.
Yeah, thank you for making it this far. If you don't want to follow us on social media or look us up on YouTube or anything, then this is the time to stop listening. You can turn it off.
This is the time to leave.
This is the time to leave. But if you want to hear our Letterboxd, which is a movie review app for you that don't know, movie review website, our Twitter and Instagram and all that. So my username for basically everything, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, is JCMURIE. It's my last name, which I don't mind sharing with the people of the internet. Jack.
Yeah, I don't mind saying that my name is Jack Delaron.
That doesn't even sound like a real name.
It's Polish.
How do you know that?
Well, it could be. Anyway, that's your account.
JCMURIE, but
what's the password?
And what are the 3 numbers on the back?
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, that was a dumb joke. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
the Instagram and Twitter for the actual podcast, where we'll be posting just news about the podcast and stuff, is No Mustard Pod. So
that's
podcast.
No spaces, right?
Yeah, no spaces, just at No Mustard Pod on Instagram and Twitter.
Any capitalized letters in there?
It doesn't matter with usernames.
Okay, so yeah, it's just No Mustard Pod, I guess.
I appreciate you pointing that out, just in case it was.
Yep.
And then, of course, you might be listening to this on YouTube, but if you're not, check us out on YouTube. No Mustard Allowed. Just spelled how you'd think. And I think that's it.
Well, my letterbox is rhombus, like the that type of square.
The weird like squish square.
Yep. _ cruise, which is in joke with some friends, but it's just, anyways, that's just what it is on most things. It's either that or some form of version. So on Letterboxd, I have that as rhombus.
And we'll have all of these linked down below in the description and everything.
Which I will leave up to you, Joel.
Yes.
Because I don't do work. I leave that to him.
There's so much to do for this. I've got to edit this whole thing. It's like an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, it's kind of what we expected. We kind of expected that he'd have to do a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed. I really hope you enjoyed. I'd be glad if you did.
We enjoyed doing it. So even if you didn't enjoy it, then we had a good time.
A personal thing I want to add eventually is, of course, a Q&A. But of course, we're gonna have to get some comments.
To actually build up a listener base.
Yeah, which I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you have any questions, please ask them, no matter what it is.
If you have a movie that you want us to talk about,
seriously,
or a TV show,
I will answer
or book
any
or
question.
Anything. Yeah.
Any question.
We will answer all questions that are not.
No, I'll answer. No, Joel might not. I will. I will answer any question. I don't care.
I'm gonna take away your access to the YouTube account. You're not allowed to answer any questions.
That's
I'm kidding.
okay.
I'm kidding.
Why don't you just make your own podcast then? Anyways, yeah, that's about it, I guess. We're going to try
Yeah.
everything. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to follow us on the social medias we've listed, and don't forget to check the description below, I guess.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I think that's it. And also, we're planning on having some guests. And if you want to be a guest, just message us and tell us why you would like to be a guest and what movie you'd like to talk about or what film topic you would like to talk about. Also, speaking of guests, I'm recording this on March 24th, so it'll probably go up on air before the end of March, I think.
Well, this one's being recorded on March 13th.
This one's being recorded March 13th.
But he's talking about something else.
I'm talking about something else. I'm a guest on the Film Rescue podcast, which is the thing that I mentioned at the very beginning of this podcast, almost 2 hours ago for us, for all the pauses and edits and everything. About an hour ago for you guys. I'm going to be talking about The Greatest Showman, which I know a lot of my friends and family really like that movie and disagree with the fact that it needs to be fixed. I don't like it, and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to rewrite it, and that's what we're going to...
If you like Joel's voice and his opinions, you should totally check him out there.
Yeah, or if you just like me as a person, which
is somehow possible, but, there's a chance. There's a chance.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my girlfriend likes me, I think.
Nah, there he goes bragging again about having a girlfriend. I'm sorry, people listening. He's just a soulless guy. Okay, anyways, so thank you for listening. Social media, everything else already listed. If you want any more information,
we've said this like 3 times. We're good. All right.
So much of this is gonna get cut out. I'm sorry, dude. You're gonna have to edit so much.
It's fine. A lot of this we'll just leave in because it's funny and you can't edit around it.
Just end it. Just
it's
end
fine.
it.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Kill it.
Bye.
Kill it.